San Diego Chargers are in the playoffs for the first time in a decade because of a sack artist by the name of Leslie O'Neal and a relentless linebacker named Junior Seau.
We're going to hit, we're going to run, we're going to yell, we're going to smile, and we're going to rejoice afterwards.
Kansas City torches quarterbacks too. Neil Smith is playing better than ever. And after Smith loosens an offense up, the sackmaster, number 58, Derek Thomas, moves center stage.
That drives and motivates our team. The emotion that comes after a sack, jumping up, the high five, and everybody's running to you to congratulate you on the sack. I think that's what fuels our defense, and yeah, I think it carries over to the offense also.
It's the Chiefs and the Chargers as the NFL playoffs continue.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Are you ready for the AFC's do or die postseason knock 'em off show? We're gonna make you smile and get rid of your blues and do the NFL wild card boogie for you. I bet you're ready for some football. One team will be standing, the other goes away. It's the AFC wild card and it's time to play.
You are looking live at sold-out and rain-swept Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, where the Chargers have just won the coin toss against Kansas City. For the first time in more than a decade, the NFL playoffs return to San Diego. Good afternoon and welcome everybody. With my colleague Dick Vermeil, I'm Brent Musburger. Pleased to be with you this afternoon. Let's get right to the defense, Dick. Plus 18 in takeaways, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, I'll tell you, to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, you have to block Derek Thomas. He can rush the passer. He plays stand-up linebacker, but they put him down in a three-point stance, and you better give him anybody blocking him some help. The other big guy, Neil Smith, good outside speed rusher, but also a power rusher. If he doesn't sack him, he puts pressure.
San Diego comes in with a 7-game win streak, and they've got some talent on the defensive side, too.
Well, Junior Seau, number 55, if he isn't the best linebacker in the National Football League, he's the hottest. Everybody's talking about him. A great pursuit guy, adequate pass rusher when they call upon him to rush the passer. Leslie O'Neal, the defensive end, an excellent pass rusher. And Coach Arnsparker's got him playing the run much better. Fine defensive football players.
Let's go down to our colleague Lynn Swan. Lynn?
Brent, I had a chance to talk to Stan Humphries. He said that his equipment is fine. He's not going to change anything. Also to Derek Thomas. Derek Thomas feels that the field is excellent, and when he's rushing the passer, if he can make him change directions and he slips or falls or gets off balance, he's done his job, but they're all set to go.
And we are all set to go here with the kickoff. The San Diego Chargers will go on offense first. And head coach Bobby Ross, a year ago today, hired as the head coach, left Georgia Tech. And here he is in the NFL playoffs. A remarkable turnaround in this city. Marty Schottenheimer, a veteran of the playoffs. 3 straight years with the Chiefs, and before that, it was the Cleveland Browns. And the veteran Nick Lowry gets ready. The playoffs return to San Diego. Nate Lewis will kneel down, and Stan Humphries and the Chargers will go to work for the first time today, coming out from their own 20-yard line. That's what he has accomplished here in 1992. He cost the Chargers only a 3rd-round draft choice. Came from the Washington Redskins. Marion Butts, Derek Walker, Anthony Miller, Nate Lewis, and Dwayne Young will be the skill players. Harry Swain and Broderick Thompson, they will have their hands full today trying to hold off Derek Thomas and Neil Smith. Take a look at the defensive side of the ball if you can. That's what will determine the outcome of this football game. Immediately, the Chargers go to the pass. The offensive line holds up, and they get the ball to Nate Lewis. Out of bounds at the 42.
Nothing helps an inexperienced quarterback more than start out hot, Brent. A good, strong play-action pass freezes the defensive linebackers. Crossing pattern to the top left-hand corner of your screen. There's Lewis getting in behind the zone coverage is right there. Now the people have to fall back out of their zone coverage and get him out of bounds. Good execution.
Neil Smith, number 90 at left defensive end. Sets up at an angle, goes down with the left hand, trying to get some penetration. He's held out, and Humphreys with time wants Lewis again, and the penalty flag flies on Albert Lewis, the veteran.
It looked like, Brent, that he hooked around him just a little bit early, and now remember, Albert Lewis has been out with a broken forearm. This is his first start. Here he is, number 29, moving in on Lewis. He gets there just a little early. A good call. Albert Lewis, a perennial Pro Bowler until the last couple of years.
2 quick first downs. The ball is at the Chiefs' 28. Lewis sets up at left defensive cornerback. The offensive line continues to hold up, and Humphreys had one dropped on him. Throwing it out of the backfield to his running back, Marion Butts. It is dropped. Now defensively, Smith up there with Joe Phillips. What a remarkable story. Suffered a terrible beating out here in San Diego when he played for the Chargers, and now he's playing quite well in the middle of that defense. Tracy Simeon, great success story from the World League. Derek Thomas, of course, you know all about him. And there's that defensive backfield with Albert Lewis in there. And that means that the young man, Carter, with 7 interceptions, is now the nickelback. So Lonnie Martz moves over here to a stand-up linebacking spot. And the first time they run Rod Bernstein, and he is stopped by the heart of that defense. The ball gets put down. There's also a yellow flag thrown on this play.
In talking to Jack Riley, the offensive coordinator who calls the offensive plays, he said the number one thing we have to do is run the ball, and we haven't done that as yet. Now here's an experienced playoff defensive lineman, number 90, coming at the top of your screen. See, and getting in there late like that, he has experience. That's a dumb mistake. But as I was saying, they want to establish the running game. They haven't been able to run well this year against the Chiefs defense. 48 rushes, 145 yards in 2 ball games.
Dan Soliamua shaken up.
Danny Salamuel is from right here in the San Diego area. His whole family's here at the ball game. Here he is.
ABC's AFC wildcard game, and this ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by the new Dodge, a division of the Chrysler Corporation. By Bud Dry. For a beer that's refreshingly different, try Bud Dry. By UPS, the package delivery company more companies count on. And by Scope, the best thing first thing in the morning.
Brent, San Diego has done a real good job inside the 20-yard line this year, scoring 85% of the time. But too many field goals and not enough touchdowns.
The significant part of this drive has been the performance of the Chargers' offensive line.
They haven't been able to get to him, and I think the field, with being a little bit soft like that, is going to take a little bit off the pass rush. And people have said in the NFL that Derek Thomas doesn't rush the passer as well on turf as he does AstroTurf.
So Bernstein shaken up. He leaves on the San Diego side. Soliamua off at the Kansas City side as 2 players were shaken up early. The Chargers with a first down at the Chiefs' 12-yard line, and Bernstein receiving medical attention on the San Diego side. Marion Butts is the running back for the Chargers. They will use him behind the left side and he plows inside the 10-yard line.
Marion hasn't been very successful against Kansas City this year. 11 carries in the first game for 37 yards, 17 last time for another 37 yards. He's going to have to be more effective if they're going to feature him today to win this playoff ball game.
The Chiefs have created big plays on the defensive side of the ball. None more so than what number 58 turned in last week against Denver. Here is a moment now when the young man of this entire defense needs to stand up. Ball just inside the 10-yard line. Opening drive, San Diego. They run behind the H-back. Butch fumbles, and Neil Smith pounces on it, and there's a penalty flag flying.
Boy, that's the one thing you don't want to do starting out in playoff games is turn it over right away. The one advantage, if you are going to turn it over and you turn it over down at this end of the field, at least you give them a long ways to go. Let's see what they're talking about. Penalty, as indicated by the Chiefs, on the Chargers.
We have multiple fouls on the offense. We have illegal motion. We also have holding on number 77. Both fouls are declined. Fumble recovered by the defense. First down, Kansas City.
You can't screw up a play any more than that.
No.
2 penalties and a turnover. That at least ties a record. Now it's the San Diego defense that will attempt to dig in and keep Kansas City sealed up. Coming out from their own 12-yard line. Member Harvey Williams is the starting running back, number 44. Play fake from Dave Craig. He has time. Wide open receiver, and he nails Burden.
Both coaches using the same principle. First play of the game offensively, come with a play action pass, run the crossing pattern, stretch the defense down the sideline, and run the man in the crease. Good offensive call. Take a look at that fumble. You'll see the man in motion there. They get it to him there. He's reached. He doesn't get a good clean handoff. Butts was running away from him, and Humphries didn't get the ball seated properly.
First and 10 after that 20-yard gain from the Chiefs, which gave them some breathing room. Off another play fake. Drops it off to the safety valve man that time. And Jonathan Hayes turns it into a big gain. Gary Plummer getting him out of bounds, and a penalty flag down.
Good awareness to find your layoff man. I don't think he's really a layoff man per se in the design of that pattern, but he was there as a backside blocker. Didn't have to block, just sort of checked out. Scramble situation. Craig finds him. If this field gets slick at all, Brent, and a little too moist down there, the offensive player is going to have the advantage.
We have offsetting fouls. We have offensive pass interference on number 44. We have unnecessary roughness and late hit out of bounds on the defense, number 24. The penalties are offset. Replay the down. First down.
So the offensive penalty against Harvey Williams. Defensively, it's against Stanley Richard.
There's Harvey Williams, number 44, the starting running back. You see him right there. The late hit out of bounds now. You see Hayes takes that layoff pass. Here it is right there. Yeah, that's not a good job. It's not a vicious hit, but he should know better.
Leslie O'Neal is 91 defensively. Williams runs right at him. The thing to do against a great defensive lineman is to come right at him, out to the 42-yard line.
The tackle by
Dave Craig. The Chiefs hope that he is the final piece in a journey to the Super Bowl. Has a lot to prove, though, doesn't he, in the playoffs? Harvey Williams steps in. Todd McNair, a great third down receiver. There's the offensive line, and the key there is the return of Timmy Grunhardt. Another play fake. Look at the time Craig is buying. Complete. Hitting Burden over the middle.
That was a clever play, Brent. They brought their H-back, 89, Cash, in motion, and they normally wham block him up inside. They moved him up inside as if a wham block. They didn't run the running play. They throw the play action pass. See, that really flees. Look at Seau sitting right there. Look at Richards, number 24, sitting there. Crossing pattern in behind him. Got him in a man-to-man coverage. Gave him the time. Completed pass.
16-yard gain. The ball at the Chargers 42. Blaze Winter gets down to that defensive tackle spot, number 86. But they're not getting penetration against Craig off the play fakes. Bill Arnsparger, a defensive coordinator, does not like to blitz, but he may have to come up with a package here. Another play fake, but this time there is pressure. Grossman came in and incomplete. Now let's take a look at this Bill Arnsparger coach defense. One of the best tacticians in the business, and he's got a ton of #1 choices. Grossman and O'Neal on that defensive line. Seau, none better. In the secondary, the veteran Gil Byrd, 10 years and still going to the Pro Bowl. And there is the veteran head coach Bill Arnsparger, who returned after being the athletic director at Florida, was a long-time assistant for Don Shula, was a head coach of the New York Giants. Williams spins away, and finally O'Neal brings him down, but Henry Rolling had a shot at him and let him get away.
Brent, this is the reason Harvey Williams is starting now. As you watch this ball coming right at you, you'll notice Rolling had a shot at him inside and didn't make the play. This is what he can do. He can make you miss. The other two big backs, Okoye and Ward, big, strong, they can power, but they can't make you miss like Williams can. That's why he's starting today.
Credit David Zott for picking up Seau. Seau was trying to slip over to close the hole, and Zott ran the linebacker out. Now Big Alt gets down. Todd McNair in, and Zott eyes that defensive formation. Now watch how Seau, they try to free him to make the stop if they can. Craig fires incomplete. There's a penalty flag thrown by the referee.
It looked like that ball should have been caught. Tony Hargain came in underneath on a delay type pattern. They're refusing it, as you can see.
Always very calm on the sideline. Not an emotional firebrand of a coach. Bobby Ross very fortunate to have this experience running the defense here.
You know, and a nice visit with him the other day when we were here, Brad, and he told me the #1 thing they wanted to do is defense the run. Now everybody talks about that.
One player is high, another player box low. It is a 15-yard penalty. We will repeat the down.
That's the chop block. Cannot do that in the NFL. But anyway, he said he wants to stop the run and get the offense back on the field. He said they've only played 2 games this year where they didn't do a good job of that. And that was against the Raiders in 1 game, in Seattle in the last game.
So they will bring it back to midfield. And that is going to leave them with 3rd and a bunch. 3rd and 17 from midfield. They must get to the 31-yard line for a first down. Todd McNair, who likes to slip out as a receiver for the Chiefs, is in this offensive formation. Shotgun. O'Neal can't get around the corner. They'll drop it off to McNair. Alt. And coming over, Junior Seau got him first, and he had help from O'Neal.
See, this is what Seau does best. He's best at pursuing plays. Now, Marty Schottenheimer told me on Tuesday, Brent, that they plan to run at him or counter back at him. They think you're doing him a favor if you allow him to flow and run away from him. This guy is a gifted athlete, big, strong, fast. He has it all. And the thing he probably has more than about anybody we've talked to this year, Brent, he has tremendous enthusiasm to play the game.
That was David Lutz, the guard, who was out in front on that play, blocking for the Chiefs. Now trying to drop it inside the 20-yard line is Brian Barker. That will be the test for the Kansas City punter. Sure-handed Gil Bird, and he's inside the 10-yard line. He didn't realize exactly where he was. He thought perhaps he was outside of it. Coaches don't like to see the fair catch inside the 10, but Bird decided that it was wise. Meeting between the Chiefs and the Chargers, but it is the first time ever in postseason. No score. Rod Bernstein taken to the San Diego locker room on a golf cart. Early prognosis, a sprained left ankle. So the Chargers a little short-handed in the backfield.
You know, Brent, he has not been able to play a solid season in his career. Big, strong guy like that, you'd think he'd be able to make it. Bad luck.
Now Kansas City will attempt to seal San Diego up. Chargers starting from their own 10. And big Neil Smith hit him on the release, incomplete. That time Smith took an inside pass rush.
Neil Smith told me he has a lot of respect for Broderick Thompson, but what he plans to do, he says, I'm going to use a Reggie White club inside move. I'm going to start up outside him. I'm going to club with my right hand and go up underneath him. He says he's susceptible to that rush, and I plan to use it a number of times. Here's another look. Ooh, that hurts. Better stay away from that one shoulder.
2nd and 10. Now Humphreys fires to his H-man Derek Walker, who takes a lick on that far side. And what is interesting is that they are brush blocking Derek Thomas. That was successful in the second half of their second game in Kansas City in an attempt to slow up 58.
This is part of their game plan, is to chip block both of those guys, put another person in position, either a tight end or back, as he releases, to bump Smith with his inside shoulder or bump Thompson with his inside shoulder and help the offensive tackle. They did that to both rushers on that snap.
Well, Ronnie Harmon enters the game for San Diego, and this would be a shock to absolutely no one if they try to throw him a pass on 3rd and 3. He loops out. Humphreys gets time. Picks up Walker on the move, and Bayless comes in to clean up. Martin Bayless, the former Charger, but not before an 18-yard gain gives the Chargers a first down.
When you give a quarterback that much time, the pattern breaks down, yes, but someone recognizes with experience like Walker did that time, hey, I'm going to go ahead and break pattern, get out here where nobody is, throw me the football. A little bit of sandlot football playing down here on the beach. All kinds of time. Good protection up inside. See, he sits. Look, 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, 1,004, 1,005. Way too much time. Impossible to cover downfield in that situation.
Derek Thomas, number 58, on that right side being handled. That is a key factor so far as Marion Butts now pounds into the middle and Chris Martin making the stop.
Already they're trying to slow down Neil Smith. This time they pull and trap block him. See, they're going to try to slow him down, trap block him, draw him, or chip block him with 2 people. Good game planning.
The trench battle continues. Incomplete, should have been handled by Derek Walker.
Boy, that's tough though, Brent, and especially on a little bit of a slippery field. To catch the ball flat, running away from it like that, and turn back and try to get it on your left hip is really tough. I'll make an excuse for him on that one. Walker caught his first career catch as a National Football League player against the Kansas City Chiefs in '90, so he knows how to catch him against the Chiefs.
He leaves, and the veteran wide man, Brian Brennan, checks in. Sam Weiss knows about Brian Brennan, doesn't he? In his days in the AFC Central. There's the young man. Humphreys. Neil Smith couldn't get to him, and he hits him at the 49-yard line for a Charger first down.
That's one of those bunch formations where they're very tight. Wide receivers on both sides are not split any more than 6 yards. And then they flush out of there. The two guys stretch, and the other people hook up. He just finds the open person. See, and he's getting the time. It doesn't take a lot of time to throw this ball. See, he sets up, just as he said, he was able to get it to Brennan. Brennan, a good acquisition.
The man that they've got to try to get the ball to is Anthony Miller, number 83. You can see they want to bump and run him on the outside. Hughes Butts pounding up the middle now. Tracy Simeon able to trip him up. He gets to the 46-yard line.
Wow, was there contact made there? Albert Papuna went through as a lead blocker and a linebacker. I think Simeon took him on, and I tell you, it's lucky he still have his helmet on. Maybe his supporter. You'll see what I'm talking about just at the end of this play. Wham!
Humphreys. Incomplete on the low pass with Tom Sims rushing from the left defensive end that time.
Boy, when you have corners like Albert Lewis that can cover that tight, what a plus, because then you're not limited in the kind of coverage you can play. You can play man-to-man, you can play bump and run, as you see here on Miller, and Miller is a class speed guy. Second fastest man. And you can hold when you have experience too. And get away with it.
And on third down, incomplete. He wanted Brennan again.
See, you have that third down situation. He wanted Brennan. Brennan was open underneath the zone. You've got to put it there. If you're going to win the playoff ball game, when he's open, you've got to put it there. There's going to be some knockdown. You're going to be sacked. You got to put it there.
Now, John Kidd matched against one of the most exciting rookies in the NFL, Dale Carter. First time he touched the ball came here on opening day, and he returned a punt for a touchdown. There was movement. Chiefs are complaining that they were pulled offside.
Benny Thompson, number 46, special teams player of the year a couple of years ago from New Orleans. He did a good job of politicking there. He must be a lawyer. He got it called. You know, that's what the one negative with a 2-point stance. You're already up. It's a little easier to move back.
False start, offense prior to the snap, number 99, simulating the start of a play, 5-yard penalty, still the 4th down.
Actually, I think I would have recused that penalty. Oh, but that was, of course, this one you can't. See, there he goes. Yeah.
John Kidd standing inside the Chargers 35. On the bounce, Carter lets it roll. Chargers will down this one inside the 10. Splendid punt by John Kidd. As expected, defense rules. Week, Washington will be up at San Francisco. 49ers, the pick of most observers as the choice to wind up in the Super Bowl, but the defending champ not about to go down without a struggle as they demonstrated today in the Metrodome, and the Vikings with a wonderful year under Dennis Green despite losing today. And here another success story, regardless of how this one turns out. And the Charger defense able to tee off if they can inside the 10-yard line against Dave Craig. He's throwing on first down. They're able to find the creases. It was Willie Davis that time, giving them some breathing room at the 20-yard line with a 13-yard gain.
Just a quick slant pattern with the tight end straight to the sideline to open up the defense. Joe Pendry doing a good job of mixing up his first down calls. The quarterback coach for the Chiefs wants to keep him off balance. Don't let him figure you out.
There's Gary Plummer, number 50. Sayal, look at his eyes.
He comes to play. And they press up front. Looks like blitz.
Sayal coming over here to the right side. Not his normal position. And the defense is successful. They were able to get penetration with Sean Lee.
Sean Lee is a free agent they signed this year. 46 games in this league, 15 starts at Tampa Bay and Miami. He did the right job that time. See, Sayal was up on the line of scrimmage now because they have 2 tight ends in there. See, that brought him out of a position to flow back inside. Now, Lee, 98, right in the middle, jumps around Grunhardt on a slant move. Tough for the center unless he gets some help on that one.
Now Sayal moved to his customary spot. Chargers bring 4. O'Neal got a hand on him, but he was able to get it off to Harvey Williams. Excellent work by Craig as O'Neal had a hand on him, but it is still an 11-yard gain.
See, they had pressure on him, and he wanted to go downfield with the ball. And they got pressure on him, Brent, but somebody has to pick Williams. See Williams, the right side of your screen, number 44 coming out. He lays it off up underneath the pass rush of O'Neal. Someone has to pick him up much tighter on 3rd and 10 than that.
John Alt almost gave up a sack, but he was able to run him just enough outside that he couldn't get the quarterback down. Misty rain still falling. Started about 9 o'clock here in San Diego. Over the middle, able to use Keith Cash.
See, Chargers went to a double zone that time, meaning 2 deep. Each safety taking half the field. They rolled the corners up. He read it. He went to the inside zone where the linebackers are dropping off. Good read by Humphreys.
5 yards.
Excuse me. Yeah, by Craig. Got him on the wrong side of the line of scrimmage here.
Dick, Craig is 6 of 7 for 72 yards. And much like Steve DeBerg, he is excellent at play-action passes. DeBerg guided them, of course, to their victory over the Raiders in this contest a year ago, and they were beaten in Buffalo. Oh, Williams and Lee reads it perfectly. So Lee has been able to come off the bench and get penetration for that defensive front for the Chargers, and what a difference when you can get penetration inside in the NFL with your pass rush.
You'll see it right here. I think Lee is lined up right there. Now see him go back up underneath. See, he gets underneath Zott on a slant move to the inside. Slant moves are really tough on offensive linemen if they don't get help from the lineman inside them, their own partner coming off the line of scrimmage. Boy, that's tough.
The 3rd down specialist for the Chiefs, Todd McNair, in the lineup. Craig will take this one from the shotgun. Looks to the right and well defended that time by Donald Frank. Beautiful play by Frank.
They wanted to run a delay underneath. Frank squatted on it, just like you said, Brent, and then moved in on the ball and batted away nicely. He came into the ball game with 4 pass interceptions, 8 pass defended. Good job. See, he wasn't trying to go deep. The other receivers cleared it out. You'll see him now, the bottom of your screen. See, they'll work up underneath. Here he's throwing real short, just coming up underneath there, and there he was locked on. He couldn't shake away. Hargrave could not get away from him.
Barker punting.
Beautiful punt.
This time Nate Lewis fields it at the 12 to the 20. That's to the 21-yard line.
Boy, that was a beautiful punt in this weather condition right now and the lack of footing. Excellent punt.
Still no score. Season premiere of the Pro Bowlers Tour. And then after that, Kitty and Peter Carruthers join the world's top skaters on the ice. It's the Durasoft Colors World Challenger Champions all next Saturday right here on ABC. San Diego with the ball, and Eric Bieniemy checks in as their tailback. gets his initial carry of the game, finds a crease on the left side, and Neil Smith quickly closed in over there. You could see Mincy, number 42. Give you an idea as to how Stan Humphries stacked up against quarterbacks in passing yardage this year, and he's up there with the big boys: Marino, Young, Kelly, and Aikman. You probably haven't heard much of Stan Humphries, but great pickup by Bobby Beathard, a conditional third-round choice because he took more than half the snaps. That's what the Chargers will give up. Not bad for a starting quarterback who takes you to the playoffs. Now the pocket starts to collapse, and he gets it off to Bieniemy, the safety valve, who slipped. And that time Humphries was not very elusive. His offensive line has done a good job for him, but they can't hold out this rush all day long, can they?
Joe Phillips, number 75, the cast-off really from the Chargers, picked up by the Chiefs early in the year, started 10 games for him, was the pressure guy up inside. Humphries couldn't slide up inside the outside rush because Phillips was sitting in his face.
And we'll return with more defense after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Kansas City scoreless after the first quarter of their playoff game with Dick Vermeil and Lynn Swann. I'm Brent Musburger. Ronnie Harmon on the field now for the Chargers, pass receiving specialist. Humphries under the blitz pressure, and Lewis has got him. Woo. So on the opening play of the second quarter, they bring the heat.
And they don't do that very often. That's a corner blitz off the backside of a tight formation. You should be able to recognize this, even though it's coming from your backside. You should see just by alignment position, something is different. He's lined up outside a receiver like that. Should be able to see it. There's where real experience would help you.
The Chargers, though, upstairs in the booth, have to be happy that they had to bring the corner blitz, and it wasn't Derek Thomas getting through on him. It means that they've had to make a defensive adjustment to get pressure. They force a punt now. John Kidd standing back in his own end zone. So from a San Diego standpoint, the blocking against Derek Thomas holding up all right. And that time they gave up a blitz sack and a loss of 16 yards, and the Chargers are being forced to punt out of their own end zone. In a low-scoring defensive struggle, field position becomes all important. Nice punt. At the 38, and Carter's got nowhere to go.
Great punt coverage. You can cover a punt like that. John Kidd put that up in the air. That ball had to be in the air close to 5 seconds.
Stadium, and no, this is not Kansas City. It has been raining most of the morning here in San Diego. A scoreless defensive duel. The Chiefs turn to see if they can move it. 1st and 10 against the Chargers' talented defense. Blaze Winter, Junior Seau, all ready. Williams, and they run at the middle of the defense. Plummer making the stop. An ABC's AFC wildcard playoff game. This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Buick and your local Buick dealers. Remember Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. And by Budweiser, the king of beers with that fresh, pure, natural taste. Nothing beats a Bud. Dick Vermeil, it's at this point that I wish someone would hand the ball to Tyrone Wheatley. So the Chargers defense under Coach Ross begins to dig back in. Play fake. Receivers covered. Steps away from the rush. Throws high to his running back Williams. Plummer over there defensively.
Great coverage by Anthony Blaylock, the right corner for the Chargers, number 37. They wanted to go deep over there to the deep comeback. He covered him like a sweat. He was all over him. Good job of coverage by Blaylock. See, he wants to throw left there. See, now he's scrambling back. Now he has to avoid Lee right there. He comes over, tries to get the ball off in a scramble situation, but a little bit too high. When you're running at a receiver straight at him, you'll tend to throw it over him because the body momentum moving in that direction.
And Sean Lee continues to get penetration on that defensive front. And there is that pitch to McNair out of the shotgun. And he comes across midfield for a Chiefs first down.
48 for Todd McNair. Tackled by Donald Frank and Junior Seau.
Numbers after the first quarter. Really, the only thing that's significant is right here. The one turnover on the 13-yard line cost the Chiefs right there. Cost them at least a field goal.
No. That was Marion Butts of the Chargers. They've got that turnover on the wrong side. That was Butts who fumbled.
Right.
In the first quarter.
And
the Chiefs got a save on it when they recovered it. So it's 1st and 10 now for the Chiefs across midfield. Craig goes high and out of bounds, and good coverage on that side by Sean Van Horst, who was running with Burden.
Everybody seems to be covering very tight, Brent. Each time we look at these kind of patterns up there, every receiver has somebody glued to him. Good secondary play by the Chargers, coached by John Fox. You know, I asked Coach Bill Arnsparger, the defensive coordinator, about the changes he has noticed from when he was coaching, the layoff now coming back, and he said the biggest thing really is the offensive packages by personnel, the mass substitution, do specific things, then a whole nother unit comes back in. He says that's the biggest difference in the game for him.
Four-man rush, Williams, and well defended by Leslie O'Neal. He was coming up a hard charge upfield, a little pushing and shoving afterwards, but he was able to come back and make a strong tackle.
Leslie O'Neal came outside. John Alt wanted to take him up to the outside so they can run rather than block him outside. He just wanted to draw him up outside, see, and he couldn't get him up far enough. See, there he's quick enough to come back around Alt and make the play. Here's a little extra. Oh, hey, guys, don't do that. Someone's going to... Oh, no. It's a friendly game. It's a friendly game.
3rd down. Shotgun Chiefs. Craig running out of trouble. Chris Mims, the rookie, able to penetrate and got a hand on him as he was trying to come free. And again, good coverage by the Charger secondary.
You know, you can look good as a pass rusher if your secondary covers right now like the Chargers are covering. See, he just couldn't throw the ball in rhythm. Then he had more time and he still couldn't throw the ball. That gives Mims rather the time to get there, Brent. Seau got there a little bit too, bringing him as an outside rusher. Look at him step rope, right on top of him there. Ow, that hurt. Parker. Nice punt. Got it up there real high.
Back to Gil Bird, who makes a fair catch at the 5-yard line this time. Wow, that one you've got to let bounce.
Normally, you're right. Normally, inside the 10-yard line, you let it roll into the end zone.
In San Diego.
Well, it does. Humphreys, you know, the second half, or actually the second 2/3 of the season, Brent, he really came on. Come here, you know, not even here at the start of training camp, and his production as a quarterback, pass interception to touchdown ratio, really improved after he played 4 ball games. Did a great job. He went to 16 touchdowns, 10 pass interceptions, started out at 4 touchdowns, 8 pass interceptions. Really good improvement and good coaching by the Charger staff.
Trying to get Anthony Miller into the attack. Neil Smith kneels down. Bieniemy, the tailback. They'll use Bieniemy out to the 9-yard line. Soleimua, who was shaken up earlier, making the stop. This will give you an idea of the playoff experience. Combined games for the Chiefs, 111 to San Diego 33. So a huge difference coming into this one as Harmon, played up in Buffalo, comes off to the Chargers sideline. Quiet man has been 58, Derek Thomas. They squeeze Marion Butts through on the right side.
See, the Chiefs lined up in that Buddy Ryan Bear defense that time. In the past, the Chiefs have gone in with a game plan that they were always going to audible out of it. This week, they decided, in talking to Jack Riley, they're going to run some right at it and see if they can't find a crease to run it, rather than always being up on the line of scrimmage and having to audible.
3rd and short. It's a power formation. Movement in the middle. Humphreys keeps it. There will be a penalty flag down.
Looked like nose guard Dan Saliamua jumped offside.
Costly.
Gosh, you know, that always irritates a football coach. The nose guard, the guy lined up closest to the ball, concentrating not on the ball, but what the quarterback is saying, and that he gives him that hard count and pulls him off.
Steve Hendrickson trotted off the field. He is quite a remarkable story in the National Football League.
He plays both ways. Every game this year, he's played offense and he's played linebacker as well on defense, and he's a great special team player. I'll tell you, his heart pumps to a different beat. It really does, Brent. He loves to play this game.
So that's the 3rd time that a penalty has given the Chargers a first down. 3 of 6 have come via the penalty route. Humphreys over the middle, and he hits the back butts. Marion butts to the 29-yard line.
Excellent pass protection, and what excellent pass protection does then is it allows the linebackers in the zone coverage to keep dropping back out of there. Then the check down, you'll see the back in the middle of your screen, number 35. Watch him, see, check down, nobody in there. Nobody in there. They've all dropped out. See, now they have to converge and make the play on a great, big, strong 250-pound running back.
Now they come back with Butts as the runner in this formation, as the Chargers seem to have noticed that their offensive line starting to control the game. Even in the early going, when they came out to pass early, it was quite obvious that the Chiefs' defensive front was not dominating them. And now on this series, it appears as though Ross has said, let's saddle up and see what we can do running right at them for a bit. Let's see what happens here.
They're running over there at Leonard Griffin, 98, and away from Neil Smith on the other side.
So Smith gets down, them running away from him. Look at this time that he's getting. Great blocking. And he's able to get the ball back into Butt's hand. It's the offensive line for the Chargers, and except for a turnover, they would be ahead at least by a field goal.
You'll see why he's getting so much time. They are going to double Smith right here. Now watch, he gets going on the rush. They're going to give him some help. Here's the tackle. He's working on him now. Watch Butts. See, he chips on him right there. He chips on him. Then he releases. Then he gets a check bounce.
Is that how you spell chokes?
Yeah, no. Chip block. That's what they call it.
You see. No, there's no holding in the National Football League. So here we come now. Let's see what Smith does. And they're pounding big holes now.
To run that well up inside, Courtney Hall, the offensive center, Eric Moten and David Richards have to do a good job of coming off straight at you. See, these people here have got to do a good job of creating the crease. See, they have a bubble in there, meaning one guard is not covered. They run right back behind. Great job by Courtney Hall on the nose tackle. Last year, he was an alternate to the Pro Bowl, and you know he's not very big, but he has good leverage, see, and he turned him out right there on Tommy Sims, number 95, and created that crease.
1st and 10. Back they come with Butts, pounding away now, getting past the defensive line, and keeping Derek Thomas completely neutralized.
See, what they like to do is also bend back. Now, you watch the H-back in motion, number 89 coming here. He'll reel back and block back, and they'll bend to the left. Now, watch come around. Watch the back come back. See the back to the right side of your screen right there. Pupino right there gets a kick-out block.
And in following Derek Walker that time on that replay, he doubled up on Derek Thomas, who never had a chance. The enemy is the running back. Now it's Eric Bieniemy with a little more quickness than Butts. And finally, Derek Thomas over there defensively to contribute.
Good call, Brent. The reason he is in there, he is a change of pace guy. See, the line of scrimmage doesn't have to be totally clean for him. He can pick his way. He'll find the crack. He can make the drastic cut. Good change of pace, going away from a 250-pounder down to that just little 198-pounder.
That is a habit, and in talking to Ross, he's not even aware of it. It's how he relieves tension by folding his hands behind his head. And you notice that at Georgia Tech and now with the Chargers. 1 year ago, he was hired. He's not tense now. He got the first down. No need to be upset and nervous now. We'll wait.
Boy, what a fine football coach. You know, I had an opportunity to visit with him Wednesday, and he said he finds the biggest difference now coming back into the NFL for him is that the number of offensive plays and the number of things you have in your game plan defensively within a game plan in contrast to, say, Georgia Tech last year. He said maybe 50 passes in a game plan at Georgia Tech. Here we'll go in maybe 150. Plus, they learn so quickly, he said.
Derek Thomas comes through right along with Leonard Griffin, and that's the first time that Thomas has touched Humphries.
To get there that quickly, you almost have to make a mistake or some offensive person miss the snap count. I mean, he's there right now. See, no one's on him, no one's on him, not yet. Somebody was there way too late. And I think that is Derek Walker, who was supposed to get him the H-back there. You'll see Derek Walker, the left tight end here. See, he's getting out there way too long and give him that room to run. You've got to stretch him. You can't give him that angle of the quarterback.
A 13-yard loss. Ronnie Harmon in for the Chargers. Humphries steps away, hit on the release, and almost intercepted. Darren Mickle, the young man from Florida who was picked up in the supplemental draft, getting the heat on.
They gave up a second-round draft choice for Mickle last year. I was in training camp with the Chiefs when they were evaluating him, Brent, and determining whether they were going to give that second-round pick, and a good thing they did. But look at this. An experienced guy, 10 years in the league, 32 pass interceptions in his career, and he drops one, and on that shoulder, you can't take many of those today. See, he ends up going over on that shoulder, taking a shot. That's almost late.
3rd and 23. Oh, and Derek Thomas, by about a count and a half, comes storming across.
He got so excited over that first sack, he wanted to go get another one. But when you pass protect Derek Thomas, if you're going to do it alone, you've got to stretch it.
Offside, defense, 58, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
A lot of people want to compare Derek Thomas with Lawrence Taylor, you know, and he has maybe more quickness, a little more speed, but I don't think in watching him play and having coached against Lawrence that he's as powerful. I don't think he's as consistent week in and week out. I don't think he's as persistent, you know. Lawrence Taylor used to be relentless, you know what I mean? He will become that if he accepts Marty Schottenheimer's philosophy.
Humphries, and down he goes, wrapped up by Big Neil Smith. Humphries and Smith exchange a few words.
2 sacks on that drive, just killed it. Number 90 Smith, left center of your screen. See, one-on-one blocking right now. Pattern is held up, and Richard, 65, couldn't hold him off on that outside rush. They're moving Smith around. He's on a offensive tackle. He's on a defensive tackle. And that's Humphries' towel.
And he hit his tee shot about 300 yards, right down the middle. These golfers are all alike. So 3 sacks for the Chiefs and a combined loss of 38 yards for the Chargers. John Kidd punting again. Fair catch at the 18 by Charles Mincy. Mincy joining Dale Carter back there to return that punt. When's the last time you watched a scoreless tie? Give you an idea of what a struggle this has been.
Well, they got to start getting the ball in the hands of the people that have been scoring for them all year. Willie Davis has caught one ball, but he leads the NFL in average per catch coming into this ball game at 21 yards per catch. Got to get the ball in his hands somewhere downfield.
Defense rules. Arnsparger, Dave Adolph on the other side. The veteran Gil Bird looks in from his cornerback spot. Backs off. Harvey Williams. And it was Henry Rolling, the free agent, bringing him down.
They've done a good job of putting this defense together, obviously, or they wouldn't be here. But you say Henry Rolling, a free agent. You know, there's some quality first-round picks, but they've filled in other positions. You know, Gary Plummer's been around here 7 years. Heck, he was a walk-on in college football, and here he is starting a playoff game as an inside linebacker.
Running Williams. Bird is there to help out with Rolling.
Did you see how fast Rolling got there? You know, they were in a slot to the top of the field and running back here toward the tight end, and he just flashed. He knew exactly where they were going with that football.
He comes out now, and an additional defensive back, Donald Frank, trots onto the field. There's a veteran. He's been through some lean times and now some good times, and the young man who's helped bring it all together, Junior Seau. They press on the front, then rush 4, and closing in is Bert Grossman. Working off a stunt, Grossman was able to free up.
He didn't see him coming. He didn't have a chance to avoid him. He was looking left all the way. They had a stunt over to the left side that they picked up nicely. And Grossman just kept coming.
Chargers call timeout. Knowing the Chiefs must punt. There have been 17 punt returns for touchdowns this season in the NFL. That's a record. Nate Lewis will be the return man this time. Barker. High coverage trying to get downfield from the 29. And Alley on the left side if he can get there, and he could not. As Tracy Rogers, the linebacker, clamped down after a 14-yard return.
By number 52, Tracy Rogers, 51 yards on the punt by Brian Parker.
2 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes and 41 seconds.
You know, the Chargers run a lot of passing game with maximum protection, going with maybe only 2, maybe just 3 receivers out and keep everybody else in there. They might want to right now use some of that, because the last series, Brent, they were sacked, as you know, 2 times in that last series. Keep some more people in and see if you can't work those guys open, which is 2 or 3 people.
Anthony Miller being shut out here in the first half. He's way out to the right toward the top of your screen, and Humphries is looking out in that direction. Goes up on top, and he has got him at the 43-yard line. That's a 14-yard gain, but more importantly, it gets your lead receiver into the fray.
You called it up here. Jack Riley, the offensive coordinator who calls the plays, must have heard you make that call. Those are the people that make things happen. Anthony Miller, great speed, 7 touchdowns coming into the ball game. #1 in the NFL in total yards as a receiver, over 1,000. You got to get the ball in his hands.
Now Kevin Ross comes down and Miller comes toward the bottom of your screen. Harmon has checked in and he'll get a carry from scrimmage. Harmon across the 40-yard line, hit the 2-minute warning here in the first half. So the Chargers trying to give themselves at least a field goal opportunity in this scoreless duel. For you, Dick.
Yeah, these guys from the Napa Valley are tough. Special team player, fullback, and the power eye set, linebacker, 1 contact. This is the last punt. All right, 2 contact. Watch him, just watch him keep going. He's going to earn his paycheck in this game. He's looking for somebody else. Wham, wham, they had it, got him. Now he's going to go find someone, and here it comes. I'll teach you, he says. Those Valley guys are tough, man. I told you that all along.
Now Ronnie Harmon in the backfield. Look at the deep setup. They're going to run the draw with him when he set up that deep, and he found running room. So they haven't been throwing the ball to Harmon, but he's able to run successfully for a first down. That's a 10-yard burst.
Dave Richards, the offensive guard on the right there, he did a good job of posting the draw block right here. And you can see it to the left center of your screen. He did a good job.
Humphreys complete. And that's Harmon with his first reception and out of bounds here on the near side. Chargers with 2 timeouts, so plenty of time.
The big thing now, they're getting in field goal range too. They have a field goal kicker in John Carney that's really hot. You know, pick a record 16 straight. Don't do anything foolish. Don't turn it over. Don't take a sack. Score if you can, but don't take too many chances. 16 in a row. Never had a kicker kick 16 in a row. In practice, I don't think I ever had a guy kick 16 in a row.
Minute and a half. Humphreys. And he could not get away from Bayless. Martin Bayless, the former Charger, with the 4th sack by the Chiefs here in the first half.
Dave Adolph, linebacker and coordinator coach, does a good job of covering with a blitz. That's 2 blitzes involving safeties that have gotten to the quarterback. He should have gotten rid of the football.
Chargers use their 2nd timeout here in the first half.
If I want to keep playing baseball,
Chargers might be ahead in this game, except they turned it over. Marion Butts down on the 13 going in. Then on the last drive, 2 sacks took them out of field goal range. Now a sack leaves the Chargers in 3rd and 16 with the ball at the Chiefs' 36-yard line.
He just should have seen that safety blitz coming. You know, it was right out there in front of him. It was to his right side where he has good vision.
Humphreys throwing quickly to Harmon, and Harmon is wrapped up by Benny Thompson and taken out of bounds on the Chiefs sideline.
Pass complete to Ronnie Harmon.
Marty Schottenheimer said he was going to put Benny Thompson on Harmon. There's Harmon, number 33, coming out of the backfield. Bunch formation. See, tries to scrape off right there, but Thompson is waiting for him all the time. You know, Harmon's been good against these guys. You know, in the last couple of ball games, he caught 6 in one and 7 in the other. They were going to try to play him a little bit tighter today with Thompson.
Well, they're going to test Carney's streak right here.
.34. That's a 51-yard field goal. He's 1 for 3 from that distance. 50 long this year. Career long is 54. He's made 3 of 8 in his career from that distance.
Timeout, San Diego. Here in the AFC wildcard playoff game. Earlier today, the Washington Redskins advanced, eliminating Minnesota 24-7. Bobby Ross with John Carney attempting a 52-yard field goal in a scoreless tie.
You know, the footing for the kicker here could be a little bit of a negative, too. I don't know how it is out there, but can't be perfect.
Punter John Kidd is the Chargers holder. High snap. He's able to get it down. Oh, he hits the crossbar. Woo! By inches.
See, you subtract those sack yards on that 1 second down pass attempt. There's a good field goal right there. Can't take the sack when you're in field goal range. Boy, the old cliche, a game of inches. This could bounce either way. Ball.
Well, I can say that the San Diego Padres play their games here, and the no-hitter remains intact. Scoreless tie, first half. Martin Bayless brought that safety blitz. Now it's the Chiefs trying to do something. Craig in trouble, throws incomplete.
Boy, I'll tell you, Leslie O'Neal that time came around. John Alt, wow, was he flying. He like I had a rocket tied to his back. He really came around the corner. John Alt, the offensive left tackle, number 75. You see him there on the top of your screen. See him, number 76, rather, excuse me. See, he had his tail way up, and there he came and flushed him up inside. He's lucky there wasn't anybody else standing there.
Craig has missed his last 4 after hitting 6 of his first 7 passes. The inside handoff this time to McNair. And McNair run down by Seau coming from behind.
Todd McNair. The stop by number 27, Donald Frank.
This is their first timeout. This is a 30-second timeout.
So the Chiefs use their first timeout with 20 seconds to go. And coming up on the Lexus halftime report, we'll join John Saunders and Sam Weish in New York. They'll tell you all about Washington's victory over Minnesota. And then we'll hear from Dick Vermeil on the first half right here in San Diego, and Lynn Swan will check in. Rod Bernstein, the running back for the Chargers, was injured in the opening quarter and has not returned to action. There's the leading receiver, and perhaps they should put him out there on the field. Well, we can go back to 92. Denver at Buffalo was the last one that was scoreless.
Well, the Chiefs have only converted 1 third down situation this whole half, 1 for 5, so they're going to have to improve that in that second half.
McNair and Seau with the saddle up there on his shoulder pads.
Call a timeout. Obviously don't want to take any chances and turn it over. Just run the draw. Sort of fits in with the overall philosophy of their whole offense. Don't turn it over. We take it away. You know, I had a chance to talk with David Craig as he walks off the field here, and you know, he says he feels so much better the second half of the season over the first half of the season. Now he can line up. He knows what's going on. He knows the people. He's not thinking about it. And maybe in the second half he can really demonstrate it.
Well, we'll go right up the interstate here to La Costa for next week's Infinity Tournament of Champions. And of course your story there is Ray Floyd. He's eligible to win both the regular and the senior tournament titles. So while you're watching the football next weekend, check it out. Final round coverage next Sunday right here on ABC.
Think you can handle that assignment without me, Brent?
I'll try, partner. There's your yardage comparison here as these two defenses have dominated. The Chiefs have to feel good, awfully good, about getting out of here with a scoreless first half. They could trail by as many as 10 or 13 points. From the shotgun, with the offensive line holding up, he gets it back into Todd McNair's hands, and it has been McNair. And remember, you don't have to get too close for Nick Lowry to attempt a field goal.
Lowry's the second most successful kicker in the NFL. Now that Sionovich has kicked more than 100 field goals, but he's not the greatest long field goal kicker. 43% out from 50 yards out.
He has kicked, though, Dick, a 52-yarder.
Yes, he has. He's kicked a lot of 50-yarders, but I think some of them were when he was a little bit younger.
Well, this year he hit that 52-yarder.
Yeah, he has.
So they're looking to try to get him inside that 35 if they can here with 7 seconds. Craig throwing incomplete. unable to pick up the yardage as Hargain was covered. Might as well try the old hook and ladder down here, Coach. Anything you got for the last second. Boy, that reminds me of a great playoff game that involved San Diego and the Miami Dolphins. We'll never forget that baby down there with Kellen Winslow exhausted and giving his all, and the Dolphins coming back in it. That was one of the great ones, wasn't it?
It was. And that play, in fact, they did throw a hook and ladder. They did. Your hitch and pitch, whatever you want to call it. Chargers are fouled up on defense. They got it called.
So they'll take a free one. You cannot have a quarter end on a defensive penalty.
Chargers were all fouled up in substitution of their nickel defense.
On the defense, 12 in on the field at the time of the snap. 5-yard penalty, repeat the down, 3rd down.
Well, Coach Arnsparger, you can see him right in the middle of your screen there. He's yelling to get off the field, but he didn't get off in time.
Move the ball to the Chargers' 42-yard line. And so because you cannot end the quarter, in this case the half, on a defensive penalty, it will be a freebie here for the Chiefs.
Well,
boy, wouldn't they love to get defensive pass interference down here about the 20-yard line right now?
Well, everybody works on the alley-oop and all that kind of stuff, and every once in a while it works. I've had it work for me one time against the Baltimore Colts.
3-man rush. Craig heaves it. And it is intercepted at the 3-yard line. Carrington returns it to the 43-yard line. And a little fracas breaks out at the far side of the field over there by the Chiefs bench, quickly broken up. And there's the young man who sealed up the end of the first half. And we'll return with halftime activities after this message from the National Football League. It's the glory days of Dan Fouts. Has the team been able to generate this kind of excitement? Obviously, as you've witnessed in the first half, Bobby Ross and this team with a 7-game winning streak due in no small measure to this great defense. And that's how they feel about their new head coach down here. I remember when he went down to Georgia Tech, Marv Levy was trying to hire him as the offensive coordinator up in Buffalo.
Well, you remember he was Marv Levy's special teams coach at Kansas City for 4 years, so he's been in the league for 4 years. And you know, he came to Georgia Tech and he didn't change from Georgia Tech to the Chargers, and he didn't change his approach, Brett. He's still hard-nosed. He works them hard. He's detailed. He gets on their rear ends when they don't step with a proper foot or put the hat in the right place. He's on top of it.
Carney kicks it off for the Chargers as we start the second half, and it is angling out of bounds. That's a penalty. The Chiefs can take it out at the 35 if they wish.
Kick out of bounds. By rule, we are to place the ball on the 35-yard line. First down.
So ABC's AFC wildcard playoff game. This ABC Sports Exclusive is brought to you by Chrysler Plymouth, a division of the Chrysler Corporation. By the makers of Advil and tablets or caplets. And by Miller Lite. It's everything you want a beer to be. Both teams in search of some offense. A turnover apiece. And it was extremely costly for the Chargers. They were down Kansas City's 13-yard line on their opening drive. And now that San Diego defense settles in against Dave Craig. Here's Williams getting outside O'Neal, but just as quickly Stanley Richard, the free safety, closes.
Leslie O'Neal did a great job that time of whipping John Alt. Real good penetration upfield. Halftime stats, the stats are about as even as the score, 0-0. Got 8 total yards difference in the two teams, balanced with the turnovers. Rushing yards in favor of Chargers, and sometimes that's an indication, hey, maybe they're a little bit better than the Kansas City Chiefs, and they'll get their motor running a little bit more in the second half. When you can run better than your opponent, you normally win.
And now a rain starting to fall again here in San Diego. And it's Craig going deep down the left sideline, incomplete. Barnett, who was the intended receiver at the end of the first half, chipping his teeth a little bit, thinking that that coverage there by the Chargers was a little too tight on the part of Blaylock.
That's the second time we've seen them cover like this, man-to-man, tight all the way down the field. Good secondary technique by Blaylock. Got his left hand on him, but not in a position to be called holding. And Barnett has been their big play guy this year. 4 touchdowns and 24 receptions. He can make the big play.
Craig, incomplete. Broken up beautifully by Donald Frank. That's the second time that he has come over the top in perfect position to deflect the pass.
Boy, it is tough to do because the receiver's running under you to the inside of the field, and you're outside of him, and you come across to make this. You just have to time it perfectly, or else it's pass interference. He gets there in good rhythm with the ball.
Craig is one of his last 9. And so Barker punting, and Nate Lewis set for return for San Diego.
Oh, great punt.
Driving him inside the 15-yard line. And Lewis is over there along with Thompson getting the return man out.
Tackle number 21, Lamont Lewis.
Barker has punted well.
He really did. He put it up there. This is an unusual way to field a punt. See, he gets a little too far under it. Now he has to reach back. Boy, that scares you to death. You're standing on the sideline as a coach and watch him misjudge it like that. Thank heavens he has those good hands.
Maybe that's why we've been seeing Gilbert fair catch everything in the first half. The enemy is the running back. He's got it. And the defense stretches him out, and Neil Smith said, let's take it down, partner.
See, that is a stretch design running play, and they like to get you stretched but stop one defender and then hit that crack. Neil Smith would not allow that to happen. See, he stays inside out on the ball. Neil Smith, left-hand center of your screen. He butts him. He works inside out down. Good help. Good fill. Perfect defense. Perfect coordination between inside out pursuit and the fill man.
How would you like to square off against Neil Smith repeatedly?
Your turn, not mine.
Now Butts the running back.
You know, getting back, excuse me, Brad, getting back to Neil Smith, he is really become a much more consistent defender against the run and the pass. And he's really matured and bought Marty Schottenheimer's program.
Butts on the sideline. Harmon the back. Humphreys fires back to Walker, who is all alone. Beautifully conceived to get Derek Walker open here on the near side, and it's a 33-yard gain. And folks, in this one, that's huge.
Boy, I'll tell you, you gave him a lot of credit saying that was conceived, but I'm not so sure that was a design play and not a scramble play, broken play, and Walker gets out of it late. But as it shows right there, he's looking back there all the way, so that is a design conceived play. Well done.
He camped out there, and nobody went out with him.
Yeah.
Now Butts in. Humphreys couldn't avoid Thomas coming from the blind side. Got around the corner on him.
See, that's what there. He was persistent. He just kept on coming. He was, you know, sometimes he used to, as a rookie, even slow down when he got beyond the quarterback, thinking the quarterback had moved up on inside. He wouldn't get there. This time, he just kept coming and went all the way around and came in from behind. You'll see him right here at the bottom of your screen, coming around. Now watch him work around, work around. Now he keeps on coming. See, he keeps on coming. Good effort.
5 sacks for the Chiefs. And they will run the enemy, and Martin Bayless brings him down.
Martin Bayless played for a long time here in San Diego. 1987 through 91, started 63 games for him, so he knows what it's like to play in this stadium. Just wearing the wrong jersey.
He doesn't know what it's like to play in a rain in this stadium.
That's true. And he never has he?
There's a Warrior waiting to go back to work. Harmon's the running back. They set the blitz and then pull out of it. And it's deflected by the defensive line on the penetration with a penalty flag down on the play. There was movement on the left side. That was Mickle, who got a hand up.
I think the H-back, inside H-back, they had a couple guys over in this tight formation. I think he moved early. Right in this area right here. See him right there? Yeah, the H-back inside there moved early. That was Derek Walker.
John Kidd punting.
Be smart, buddy.
Dale Carter. Punt's very well covered by the Chargers. Extremely well covered on that high punt and down inside the 5-yard line. Darren Carrington, who intercepted the pass at the end of the half, was able to get down and down this 39-yard punt. It's brought to you by the makers of Advil in tablets or caplets. High above Jack Murphy Stadium, a scoreless duel. 10:42 to go. The Chiefs coming out from inside the 5-yard line. The crowd yelling for the Charger defense to get it, to get a safety, get the ball back. They press at the line against Harvey Williams. Nothing doing. Second down.
Dale Carter on that last punt should have fielded that ball on the 10-yard line, just bear catch it, because that losing that 5 to 6 yards back there like that, boy, that makes a heck of a difference on offense and what you can do and what you can call. And if you can't move it, then your punter's already standing back at the end zone line.
J.J. Burden brings the play in from Marty Schottenheimer's sideline. The love affair growing between the Charger fans and this defense. Tough to be heard down here in the closed end. Craig under pressure, incomplete.
Boy, he was lucky he got that. It almost looked like he threw it between and under 2 people. Blaze Winter was there. Pressure up inside. When you can get that quarterback's got the ball in the end zone, he knows where he is. He's got a lot of experience. See Blaze Winter there, jumped around the center, then beat Luch 72 back to the inside. Great effort by Blaze Winter. Poor blocking by the offensive line.
Here is a key third down. The Chargers would love to force the Chiefs to punt from their own end zone, and Craig is one of the last 10, and this offensive line has to give Craig some time. Grossman was coming, and he's able to get it into Hargan's hands, and Hargan gives the Chiefs a huge first down.
a monstrous first down. To get out of that situation on 3rd down and convert, they've thrown that slant pattern 3 times. That's the 3rd time on a 3rd down conversion. You remember just a little while ago, the one was batted down. We praised the defender. He gets back inside on this one, gets it right where he has to throw it, kept him running upfield low into the inside away the defender. Again, they were in zone that time. Better stick with some man.
A 22-yard gain. Craig trying to change it up, and you can see the cornerback on the right side coming up in a bump and run look, and they hand to Williams. He gets around Grossman and finally steps out of bounds here on the near side.
Grossman is upset. He thought he was held by Baldinger that time. He's yelling at the official. But see, they bounced outside him. He tried to release and come down the line of scrimmage, but he couldn't get out of the grasp. He was upset about it.
Well, earlier today, the Washington Redskins beating Minnesota 24-7. San Francisco next for the Skins. And down goes Blaze Winter, moving in the middle of the defensive line. Williams, and can't get away from Leslie O'Neal.
Leslie O'Neal's motor was getting running a little faster in the second half. It got even better now in the 3rd quarter. See, they jumped underneath there. He got underneath the tight ends block, outside the tackles block, penetration, no place to go.
The sack war continues.
Well, Leslie O'Neal jumped underneath Jonathan Hayes. You'll see right here on your screen. Here he is right here. He jumps underneath on an inside swim move. See, Hayes a little late off the ball, goes outside to hook him. He reads it, he jumps up underneath, puts him down. You see right there, his body came down on his right leg and lower leg. Right here, you'll see it from behind. Now watch his body come right down on that right leg, right there. Hard to speculate. But, you know, he had a very serious leg operation and knee injury in college as a young college running back and had total reconstruction. Hey, that's nice to see this young man get up and walk away. That was scary looking. You can't be beaten on the inside gap. You always protect your inside gap, Brent. You remember that.
I always do. I never let that inside gap. All right. Here we go now. Scoreless. Kansas City and San Diego. The 3rd down shotgun look. 4 wide receivers. Penalty flag. Loose ball. San Diego pounces on it. But let's see what the officials rule on the play. They said his arm was coming forward.
You know, the Chiefs are having a hard time hearing the audibles, hearing the cadence. Joe Penry, the offensive coordinator, told Lynn Swan they're having a real hard time communicating that, and Lynn just brought us that message.
In a scoreless tie like this, some frustrations are going to mount with the quarterback, and he was over-expressing some to Marty Schottenheimer, who is calming his quarterback down over there on the far sideline right now. Now it is Barker, and he has punted splendidly. Nate Lewis at the 26 had a little difficulty getting the handle. Did he there for a fraction of a second?
DeHaan Lewis really made a great play there.
Remember this. Before the day is over, something weird is going to happen in this football game to give one of these teams a chance.
See, if that ball's on the turf, Kansas City has it. That's the kind of play you're talking about, huh, Brent?
You bet, Dick. Now, Stan Humphries and the Chargers. Marion Butts, the running back. Meanwhile, Harvey Williams over there trying to get himself loose on the Kansas City sideline so he can come back.
Well, they have 2 other fine real running backs in Barry Ward and Christian Okoye, both guys that have been over 1,000. You know, different style back right here, but those other 2 guys can play. There's Christian right there. You know what I like about him? He's a tempo setter. I think sometimes the squad rallies around him.
Had to rally around him on the sideline today. Harmon and Butts. There's Harmon in motion. Humphreys getting time, snaps it into Harmon's hands. Harmon's trying to get to that first down chain, and he may have been helped by Bayless.
Hard for Thomas to get there when they block him like this. Very seldom, I think, in the second half will we see Thomas blocked by himself. Here he comes. See, they're going to chip him right here. The tackle has got him. Now he's doing a good job. They're going to chip him right there, and they're going to hold him. Harry Swain, number 72's got a pretty good lock on here.
Humphreys on first. And he fires to Harmon again, and now Harmon is starting to get involved. You know, number one in the league in catching passes for running backs. He has caught 4 today for 21 yards.
Dave Adolph, the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs, told me when he's in the ball game, it's about 80% pass. But see, what they're doing right now is they're keeping a lot of people in to help. There's Dave Adolph right there. Very fine defensive football coach, good coordinator. He's been around for a long time.
Anthony Miller comes out to the left side of the formation. Kevin Ross locked up at the bottom of your screen. And Butts pounds into the middle, and Butts breaks it. 30, 20, 10. Touchdown, San Diego.
The Bear defense, see, they have everybody covered up inside right here like that, and they pop it through anyway. Good blocking at the point. Now the big man and Mincy, the safety, has to make that play. That's poor safety play. Can't play in the National Football League if you can't come up and at least get a piece of it. Motley at 250 pounds. See, in the defensive safety, yes, he's outweighed, but he still should get in position to make that tackle.
Will attempt to return the kickoff for Kansas City after Butts turns in his career run. 54 yards, the longest run of the season for San Diego. And the Chargers up by 7. Carney picked up by Carter at the 11-yard line and out of bounds in the arms of Stanley Richard. And now penalty flags come flying.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the kicking team, number 34. We will tack on 15 yards, first down.
Hey, those Napa Valley guys aren't too smart. We gave them a little praise there in that first quarter, Steve Hendrickson, for making a good play. Here's Carter right in the middle of your screen right there. And see, the face mask is being pushed back there by Hendrickson. Not a good move.
And the ball is brought out to the Chiefs' 31-yard line with Bill Arnsberger's defense settling in again as Harvey Williams returns for the Chiefs. Craig intercepted by O'Neal.
David Craig, not the tallest guy in the world, 6'1", sits back, has good time right now. And then you'll see right there, Blaze Winter did a great job of leaping. In time, he did that 2 other times coming into this ball game. Creates the turnover. Good technique, good reaction by Blaze Winter. Interception by O'Neal. Momentum is switching right here. Look at O'Neal. He thinks, look at him go for that ball at the highest point. Looks like a wide receiver.
Now Butts in at running back. He scored just moments ago, short of the 20-yard line.
Good offensive call, Brent. See, they've gained a little momentum. They motioned. They're picking up. They're getting excited. Come off and go after him with good base man blocking and knock him back. See, that gives the other people a chance to get excited, too. The offensive lineman. David Craig there talking to Vlasic, his backup quarterback.
Pound again to the 18 and Bayless.
A little bit of counteraction. Boy, Butts takes a load to the line of scrimmage when he gets there. Yes, he's big, but he accelerates like he did on that touchdown run. He can get between people. That was the longest touchdown run of his career. Look at those sides. Here's Derek Thomas. He's pretty strong himself. Not as big, but he is strong. Gets bound underneath him, gets him to the legs, and he runs right through him.
Now it's the Bieniemy Harmon package, and in this, Harmon has gone in motion as he does here. And it's Bieniemy stepping for the first down.
The last 2 times they've had Harmon in the ball game, they've thrown the ball. This time they put him in motion as if they're going to throw to him. He becomes a backside blocker, and they counter away. Good offensive changeup. If you're on the sideline as a coach, you're saying, guys, remind those guys in that offensive backfield to hang on to that football, concentrate what you have in your hands. Let's not take a sack. Throw it in the end zone. We're field goal range right now.
I stand corrected. They were short. And they will trot Carney on the field.
The enemy was trying to do his part right here, so watch him try to reach here, get it out there. See, he's sliding it out, but just a little bit late. Good try.
Dick, it is 4th and inches, leading by 7. Offensive line doing a job. I guess you have to take the conservative approach here.
I think you do.
It does make you wonder a little bit, though, I know. 34-yard attempt for Carney.
You got a 100% kicker right here.
Yeah. You'll take it now.
I'll take it.
California for the AC Delco Classic. Then Kitty and Peter Carruthers join the world's top skaters on the ice. It's the Durasoft Colors World Challenger Champions next Saturday on ABC. Here on this Saturday, 1993, the San Diego Chargers with a 10-0 lead on Kansas City. It'll be down to the end zone. So following an interception by Leslie O'Neal, the Chargers add a Carney field goal, giving them a 10-point lead against a struggling Kansas City offense. And there is Dave Craig. And folks have speculated for years how far he could take you as a quarterback in the playoffs. He moved to the Chiefs from Seattle this year, and he has struggled against this defense. Harvey Williams is his running back.
The whole offensive team has struggled, not just David.
Seau looks in. O'Neal's coming again. He's got an open receiver this time. Fumble. Chiefs have got it. Ball got out of bounds on that lick.
That was one of those vertical stretch patterns where the wide receiver takes the outside defender all the way down into the end zone, and then they try to hit the crease between the line of scrimmage and the deep receiver. You'll see the slot man here to the left side of your screen. Now watch him work. That's J.J. Burden. Watch him work into that zone area. See, what he did is he drifted into the... That was a reception and a fumble.
Stanley Richard jarred the ball out.
Let's see if he gets his feet down. 1, 2. Hey, that's a fumble. Yep.
24-yard gain, and again, the key break for Kansas City is that ball got out of bounds on the hit with Barry Word, now the running back. And Craig firing again for 9 yards to Willie Davis, who had covered up on the reception, and Dave Craig standing tough now, starting to move the Chiefs.
I'll tell you, I think it's Sean Lee, 98, defensive tackle. He's doing a power rush inside like there. Here he comes right there and knocks him back. Now that was Winter. And he gets 2 people. One guy hits him in front, the other guy trips him. A lot of pressure by that defensive line right now. Really coming after him. Look at that look in their eyes. Old Blaze Winter. He's been around a while. He wants the opportunity to get a piece of him.
Second and short, and it's Barry Ward battling for a first down. So it's a first down. The ball is at the Chargers' 45-yard line. Only the second time the Chiefs have been in San Diego territory. Play fake to Word. O'Neill's coming. O'Neill and Grossman coming, and that is the second sack by the Chargers.
David Craig was going to stop, set up, and slide inside to the pocket off the action, and he couldn't do it. He lost his footing. You'll see him right behind David Craig, 17, the right side of your screen. See, watch, he makes the reaches, makes the fake. Now watch him try to set up right here. See, he plants those 2 feet, he leans too much weight back. Boy, there he goes. Galliano here, backup quarterback for the Chargers, warming up. I don't know what for.
Second down, Craig slips again and throws incomplete to Keith Cash. Footing a problem the last 2 times for Craig.
Boy, he's trying to get back quickly. Look at that look on his face. He's disgusted. Wonder what kind of shoes he has on. Here he is again. See, he plants those 2 feet, and he's just not being able to set up good balance and throw. You're never going to throw accurately in a poor position like that.
Todd McNair in the backfield for the Chiefs. Now Seau drops out. Grossman is picked up, but they forced him up into the middle. It was Grossman coming hard from the outside, and O'Neill stepped up inside.
O'Neill and Winter on the offensive left, defensive right, ran a cross charge on him, and that just crushed the whole pocket inside. Here you're going to see out inside right up here like that, then pressure from the left side. See him stunt right here. Did a good job here. Gets that push up inside. Alt switches off, and there he is. I'm not so sure Alt should have come off on him that late.
Now Barker punting, and Gil Bird. The Chargers using the sure-handed Bird back deep. And this one will bounce dead on the 7-yard line. He has punted beautifully today for the Chiefs. A 49-yarder that time. And it will be up to the Chiefs defense to create something now as San Diego leads them 10-0 here in the first playoff game in over a decade to be played in this city. This team not only made the playoffs, they won a division. When the season began, who would have picked the Pittsburgh Steelers, the San Diego Chargers, and the Minnesota Vikings to win divisions? Yes, they thrived on a weak 5th place schedule, but you're seeing here today that this defense gave them an opportunity. Marion Butts is the running back. And it's Butts.
You know,
Tracy Simeon.
The headlock to Marion Butts. Tackled by number 57, Chris Hartman.
Final seconds of the 3rd quarter.
Loss of 1.
So we'll return to the AFC wildcard playoff after this word from our ABC station. First half, Marion Butts erupts 54 yards for the game's first score. Then a Leslie O'Neal interception sets up a John Carney field goal, and the San Diego Chargers are 15 minutes away from advancing to the next round. Meanwhile, Kansas City's defense will attempt to tee off. Harmon on the draw.
Harmon doesn't get to carry the ball that often, being emphasized as a receiver, but when he does, he is effective. See, people automatically think pass, and I'm sure that linebackers let the rushman know Harmon's in here. Let's get that weight forward and get after the passer. This time they hand off the draw. Good flex, good mobility to make a miss.
Now it is 3rd and 6. Humphreys incomplete. Chargers punting.
Taking a look at the numbers here after the 3rd quarter, you can see the Chargers gradually working ahead now, moving out in total offense by over 70 yards and dominating in the running game, moving way out.
Now comes a moment that the Chiefs need to come up big. Dale Carter will stand on the Kansas City 45-yard line. Ooh, they were coming after Kid. Fair catch at the 42.
Boy, he boomed that one. What a good time to get a good punt.
He pulled the trigger. A 45-yard punt. Dave Craig might want to pass the oxygen on to the offensive lineman.
I agree. They're getting beat at the point right now.
They're faced with an uphill task now, trailing by 10. Best starting field position of the day against Junior Seau and friends. Barry Ward on the delay, and O'Neal closing in. He's had a monster of a day.
Leslie O'Neal has gotten stronger as the game has gone on. Here he is, number 91, right in the center, working on Alt, number 76. Alt hooks him a little bit there, trying to draw a technique to get him to come up outside. Leslie read it back inside and went underneath. Good read by Leslie O'Neal.
6 tackles, 1 sack, and an interception. Pretty good day's work. Now Alt down and ready to go to war again. Holds up. Craig fires complete across midfield to Davis.
Even at that, when he gets back there, he's shuffling to try to find a spot so he can throw the ball. Good pressure on him, good reaction. He works back inside here in the zone. See, they shovel him back, let him go. See, everyone playing zone in here. He just stops in the hole and works upfield with it. Willie Davis, number 84.
third down, needing that.
This would be a good time. They haven't been effective in any way of getting a big play. Sometimes the best way to get a big play in your offense is in the unusual down and distance situation. Here it is, third and short. Hey, maybe real strong play action a la Don Shula. Okay. Go ahead and get a big one. Not going to do it all spread out like that.
Content to let Craig go for the first down. So a little blue sky in the distance. It has been a rainy playoff day here in San Diego. Much more reminiscent of what you would experience back in the Midwest. Neil Smith,
Kevin Ross giving a little pep talk over there. The offensive line has been so banged up through the year. They just have had a hard time being a consistent offensive football team.
Craig, here comes O'Neal. Fumble, and it was recovered by Alt.
It looks like they're going to have to give John Alt some help to block him. I've seen times when John Alt could block the best, but he can't get it done today. Right in the center of your screen, 76 John Alt. O'Neal 91, see? Tried to cut him. Boy, if you cut a guy and he doesn't go down with you, this is what happens to you. Leslie O'Neal, too good an athlete. Look at it. Look at too good an athlete to cut that way. Don't like that technique. Never had.
From the shotgun. Swinging it to McNair. Sayal bumps him out. And Frank cleans up.
You know, they do have a screen in their game plan. You know, he's out there, but he has nobody, no screen wall, no help. You know, if you could get somebody out there, of course, when you run a screen, sometimes you draw defenders with you.
Third down. 8 yards. Craig. Firing incomplete.
Excellent play again by Anthony Blaylock. We've called his name in the same situation 3 times today. He's on Tim Barnett, man-to-man. Does an excellent job of knocking that ball away. Marty Schottenheimer got a lot of poise. Super football coach. Not going to panic yet.
Barker. High punt. Fair catch signal inside the 10-yard line again. And both these punters, Barker and Kidd, have done a job here. That one's a 38-yarder, and again the Chargers are inside the 10. .29 to go. San Diego with a first down on their own 9-yard line. Marion Butts is the running back. The Chiefs trail it by 10. Butts, who scored the game's only touchdown, is wrapped up. So a prime time tomorrow. Drew Barrymore, this is the one you've waited for. Amy Fisher in the Amy Fisher story. Frankly, I'd love to see her funniest home videos, wouldn't you, folks? That's tomorrow's lineup right here on ABC. Second down and 6. Now Stan Humphries, acquired from the Redskins in a trade. Butts popped by Bayless.
That offensive line is coming off the ball real well. This time they used a wham blocker, meaning they took him back and let him through on a defensive lineman. You'll see what I'm talking about right here. Watch the back of the left-hand corner of your screen. See, now watch him come through. That's Alfred Papuno. Now watch him come in and wham! That sealed the hole off inside, but they couldn't block Bayless sitting back there.
Now it's third down. Humphreys goes downfield. It is caught by Miller. Fumble. Loose ball.
Oh.
And the Chargers wrap it up. Miller gets back on it.
When it's going your way, it's going your way. Miller told me the other day he would rather go deep on Kevin Ross than he would on Carter or Albert Lewis. He had his opportunity that time. Perfect protection, could step up, throw it out there in front. See, he has him beaten to the inside. Now watch this, the ball gets knocked out right here. It's going your way when this happens. Everyone's going to come in there and try to get it. Excellent effort by a backside receiver to keep the ball moving. Excellent.
Great.
Chargers wanted it more.
Anthony Miller went hard after that loose ball. Neil Smith can't get in on Bieniemy. And there's a penalty flag down on the play.
Brent, the effort made by Chargers to get that ball was much greater than the Chiefs to recover that ball. Boy, they were flying for it. Again, taking a look at the end of that previous play. Nice catch. This guy can fly. Second fastest man in the NFL. Only Green from the Redskins beat him a couple years ago. Ball knocked out. Now watch the black jerseys flash. Oh.
Well, we'll get back to that in a moment. This was an offside penalty here. So it is going to be a 1st and 5. You can see that the ball has been spotted close to the 23. Coach Ross and the Chargers in a commanding position now against Schottenheimer and the Chiefs. With 8 minutes to go, a 10-point lead and driving again and using Bieniemy on a change of pace down to the 21-yard line. Chris Martin. So here we want to see the end of the play. You will watch Brennan come in and he helps keep one of the Chargers out, and then Miller will come flashing in there, and as Dick pointed out, he wanted it more. There was Brennan, and Miller just goes in and simply takes it away.
Tahan Lewis didn't respond as aggressively, that's all. Bobby Ross said it's not enough to get here.
Humphreys incomplete.
Now they're going to call
and
pass
Simeon hit the receiver right in the middle. One of the things about Stan Humphreys that you notice, he is a tough hombre. In the National Football League, you got to have guts to play quarterback, and he will hang in.
That ball was batted there, and they didn't call pass interference. See that right there? They ruled the ball uncatchable.
Papuno went down.
The hands are getting higher in the back of the forehead there.
Needing a couple of yards. Bieniemy gives it to him.
Great block by left guard Eric Moten, 77. He knew they were coming up behind him. Here he is over on the left side of the quarterback. Watch 77 come off the football here. Wham! Look at that. Butt down, moving those feet, turn them out. Good job by Eric Moten.
The offensive line for the Chargers has been the difference. 162 yards rushing today to 61 for the Chiefs.
You know, the guy coaching that offensive line is an old tough guy himself, and Carl Mock. He played for a long time.
Here's Bieniemy on a delay, crossing the 15-yard line.
This is the kind of football they wanted to play. They wanted to run the football. Marty didn't want to allow them to run the football. The game is being won in the pitch. Offensive line dominating right now for the Chargers.
3 huge plays with a timeout having been called by Kansas City. Butts' touchdown run, O'Neill's interception, and Miller recovers his own fumble. And time starting to slip away from Kansas City. And it has been thunder and lightning here today. Ross said football is a line of scrimmage game, and his offensive line doing the job here today.
Didn't he tell us he just walks up and down the line of scrimmage and practices to make sure they're working with the right feet, putting the hat in the right spot, coming off in the right courses.
The enemy. And that change of pace runner.
I'll tell you, that time Eric Moten, the left guard again, came off the ball, and I think I saw a pancake. You don't see a pancake very often in the National Football League, meaning they took a defender and put him on his back. Good job, Mr. Moten. Take a quick look at this on the left side of your screen. Nice little crash in there, flattens, and there goes another man down.
Now you can look into the eyes of that defensive line, starting to reel a little bit, knowing the time is running out, and all you've planned for in this season is about to come to an end unless something big happens. The Chiefs have to stop them here.
Calling another timeout, I think. Marty Schottenheimer, Dave Adolphus, coordinator.
Dick, there are some fans back in Kansas City and Chief fans around the country.
Nice little crash in there, flattens, and there goes another man down.
Now you can look into the eyes of that defensive line, starting to reel a little bit, knowing the time is running out, and all you've planned for in this season is about to come to an end unless something big happens. The Chiefs have to stop them here.
Calling another timeout, I think. Marty Schottenheimer, Dave Adolphus, coordinator.
Dick, there are some fans back in Kansas City and Chief fans around the country who would want to ask you, why does their offense seem so ultra-conservative? What's the problem with the Kansas City attack?
Well, it's a philosophy. I don't know if it's a problem. They want to run the football, and last year they were the top running team. They were number 3 in running the ball at averaging 138. This year, with the offensive line injuries, they've been averaging 96, and they just haven't been able to do what they want to do. So now you try to go ahead and do some other things, and that's really not part of your personality, and they're just not good enough.
You know, last year when we had them, they were averaging 3.5 yards a rush about.
Yards per rush average aren't as critical as just the number of rushes. When you get up there and averaging 139 yards a game, you're doing a good job. This year, under 100. Lost the right tackle, Derek Graham, after the 3rd game. He never played. Then Baldinger came in. He got hurt there. They lost Tim Grunhardt. He's been hurt. Other guys played banged up. It's not the same offensive line. And regardless of what philosophy you have then offensively, you're not very good.
Remember, this drive started back on their own 9-yard line at 5:27, and now the Chargers use a timeout with 5 minutes to go. Quite a turnaround in the National Football League this year, and this was certainly not the only success story written around the NFL. There are your division champions, and for the first time since the merger in 1970, 6 different division winners from the previous season. Pittsburgh, San Diego, Minnesota, the biggest surprises, but Miami able to sneak up on a beaten-up Buffalo team. Dallas, well, they were given a shot, and certainly San Francisco came into the season. And you would say that the 49ers and the Cowboys would be favored by the folks who follow this league regularly to wind up one of them out of the NFC in Pasadena at the Super Bowl.
You know, I had the opportunity a while back to talk with Jim Moore, New Orleans Saints head coach, and he told me, this was just a week and a half ago, that he thought the 49ers might be the best offensive team he's ever coached against in the National Football League.
There were a lot of folks last year who thought that they were the best team, and of course they didn't even get in to the playoffs. Now the ball is down near the 5-yard line. Touchdown, Steve Hendrickson. Oh, what a moment for him. Your first carry of the year, and you put your team to the next level in the playoffs.
It's just a counter. They start one way, and he comes slashing back to the inside off that right there, right up inside. Fullback, linebacker, special teams player, a tempo setter for the football team. And I think Bobby Ross called that play, put him in there for that reason. A little trap block right there. Good wham block by the tight end coming across. He called it because that guy earned the right to score that touchdown.
Don't let up. Don't let up. You coach every second of your life for the NFL.
And that's what they say he does on the practice field. I had one player told me, Brent, that, you know, when they tape practice, if he sees somebody in the meeting rooms and the tape and there's someone standing behind the huddle and they're not paying attention, he stops and coaches that kid in the meeting room for not looking. Again, right up inside. Hendrickson, he's an original piece of work, this guy. Vintage High School in Napa, California.
I believe it's okay for him to have a glass of the vintage red tonight.
Well, I think Mondavi ought to send him a case.
I think the last big-time win in San Diego by one of their teams, if I'm not mistaken, and I can still see the ball going between Leon Durham's legs at first base, when the Padres took care of the Cubs. Listen to him in San Diego. Through Carter's legs and into the end zone. If he touched it, he's got to come out, doesn't he? Or did the momentum take it on back?
I think they ruled a touchback. I think they ruled it went through, yeah.
Now let's check the seedings of the teams that stepped on into the playoffs. And now it looks like San Diego has another appointment down in Miami against the Dolphins. And then tomorrow, Buffalo and Houston. Rematch, interesting game there. You know, this is the year with the Bills beaten up. This is the year where a team could get on a roll in the AFC and wind up in the playoffs. You may have a surprise team from the AFC get in. Todd McNair. And Craig firing complete. Tony Cargain, the receiver. 24-yard gain.
The Chargers can sit back there and play those zones right now. Care less about everything else going on. They're still getting a great rush out of the down 4.
O'Neal pushed off.
Oh!
And he did it, get it into McNair's hands as Sean Lee unloaded on him.
He beat Dave Zott around to the outside. Dave Zott has been their most consistent and best offensive lineman all through the year. He's played all ball games, every one. He started all of them. But he came around. You'll see in the middle of your screen, he gets around the offensive guard, back up inside. Now they force him up. Here comes Lee. Wham! That's smart.
The ball at the Chargers' 42-yard line. Now Leslie O'Neal and the rest try to bring some heat on Craig. Flags down.
Looked like a defensive tackle was offside. We'll see. Unless they call it on the offense, drew him.
False start. Offense prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
I think that was David Zott, Brent. He was the offensive lineman that was just beaten on that last snap, getting a little anxious to get set up properly. Same guy rushing him. I think they've had a problem all day in this stadium hearing real well. The offensive linemen have. It's been a negative to them.
And on cue, the sun is starting to peek through here in San Diego. 4:12 to go. Chargers 17, Chiefs nothing. O'Neal coming again at Craig. In there with Blaze Winter.
What a great story he is. Blaze Winter, out of football, makes his own tape, produces it himself, sends it around, shows it to the Chargers. They give him a chance, and Blaze Winter gets another chance to sack the quarterback.
And the reason why Bill Arnsparger liked him was not so much the quality of the tape, but the fact that it showed desire on his part. And that's what the young man was bringing on that play, was plenty of desire.
You know, Brent, I faulted David Zott for a sack or a real pressure there a minute ago, and they have moved Valerio, number 73, in his position. So it wasn't Zott, it's Valerio. Here he is. You see him on the screen, just having his hands full right there with Sean Lee. Here's David Zott. He's been their most consistent guy. 43 consecutive starts, 16 last year, 16 this year.
The Chiefs are out of timeouts. They trail it by 17, and their season about to come to an end here in San Diego.
I'll bet you, knowing Marty Schottenheimer like I do, I'll bet they do a lot of reevaluating the overall approach to offensive football. You know, they're getting in the playoffs and not going to that next level.
There is Alex Spanos, and he has known the bad times here in San Diego. What was he telling us about the reaction to his ownership?
He said every time we lose in all the bad years, it's my fault. We get it going now and got the right coach, everything going well, and it's everybody else's fault that they're having success. He's not getting any of the credit is what he's saying.
O'Neal got a piece of that one.
Everything starts at the top.
Not been shut out since 1987, 94 games. And that could happen right here with 3:57 to go. Junior Seau, what did he say at the top of the broadcast? We'll smile, we'll rejoice when this is over.
You know, in talking with Schottenheimer, he has not faulted his quarterback for the offense not really being good. He said through the year, he's only had about 8 bad quarters, and not all in a row either. I mean, different times, but overall, he thinks David Craig has done a good job for him.
You pay a price when you face that man as a coordinator, and he's got talent on the defensive side of the ball. That has always been the case. No kneel. Craig steps away. Fumble. Wrap it up. Stanley Richard.
make something happen. Hard outside rush again by O'Neal. Another back rush up inside. Here, and it's stripped from behind there by Lee. Now he kicks it downfield, and Stanley Richard comes up with the ball. It's one they won't forget for a long time. Watching Cuptee, he's had the ball over his career knocked out of his hands many times. Right there, he's just trying to make something happen.
Bob Galliano will close it up here with a huge smile on his face. The veteran. And they go to work on the clock with Bieniemy. Stan Humphries, remember a week ago up in Seattle, left that game with an injured left shoulder. There were questions about whether or not he would be able to play this week. Humphries has proven, above all else, that he is a tough hombre. There was nothing in it to keep him out of this game. He stood tall here today, and he should take his offensive line out to dinner. On the other side, the struggles of Dave Craig, again unable to advance in the playoffs, and his offensive line must share that burden here today as the Chargers came through big time defensively. Final 3 minutes, and now it is Bieniemy.
You know, Bob Galliano started the first game of the season against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now he finishes the season Kansas City here today.
Personal foul on the offense. Number 72, we're going to penalize 15 yards. The down counts. It will be third down.
That's Harry Swain, yeah.
These aerial pictures are courtesy of Goodyear's Airship Eagle, based in Carson, California. Our cameraman up there, Richard Morkel. We enjoyed having the blimp yesterday in Pasadena, and wasn't that a wonderful Rose Bowl, won by Michigan over Washington in that game. Here it has been all defense. Neil Smith and the Chiefs on the short end right now. The San Diego defense today have held Kansas City to 61 yards rushing, 13 this half, 6 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 1 fumble recovery. And now the Chargers will bring down the clock. Here is Ronnie Harmon. And it was Harmon who had a huge recovery on a fumble when Anthony Miller broke free. And it was his great desire that gave the ball back to the Chargers, and they were able to march in for their clinching touchdown. There have been 3 huge plays in this contest. Butt's 54-yard touchdown run, Leslie O'Neal's interception, and Harmon's hustling recovery of Miller's fumble. This was a team all year named Desire. This would be their 8th victory in a row.
And the owner wants some of the credit.
With San Diego punting, John Kidd, who has certainly held up, as has Brian Barker, punting for the Chiefs. 2 minutes to go, and San Diego set for a trip to Miami. And Mincy runs it down, and he's out of bounds. The 13-yard line. The game was scoreless. 5:53 to go in the third quarter. Marion Butts took the handoff and exploded with his longest run, and the longest run of the season for the San Diego Chargers. And remember, this is a team that could be hosting the championship game if things break right. The next big play was Leslie O'Neal. Off the deflection, he came up with an interception that set up John Carney's field goal. And then it was the completed pass to Anthony Miller racing down the sideline. He fumbles. And watch Ronnie Harmon. This is a team named Desire. And now they're 151 away from the Dolphins. Incomplete. The penalty marker is down. And Dick, you and I want to thank some people who have helped us. Roger Riley stepped in, lives here in San Diego, came back and was our stats man for the Rose Bowl, and then down here, and of course the ever-present Jimmy Tubbs. We couldn't get anything done without my spotter.
Speak for yourself.
And of course the big fellas too, you know. Executive producer of ABC Sports is Jack O'Hara. Today's game was produced by Joel Feld, directed by Drew Esikoff, who also came down for the Rose Bowl. Congratulations, along with our technical directors Doug Schmidt, Mike Carmen, our associate director Patrick McManus. You all did a great job for us. 1:45 to go, and didn't the Charger defense do a fabulous job in this one?
Two outstanding leaders on that Charger defense, Leslie O'Neal and Junior Seau, and it's really great when your leaders are great players as well, and this is what the coaches were talking about. They have set the tempo all year.
I was so impressed with Seau as a person. Grew up in this area, how he responds to the youngsters when someone wants an autograph. He feels for his family, that tight-knit American Samoan family.
Yeah, you know what he said to me? He says, Coach, my parents could hardly understand English. They raised 5 children, and I'm the baby. They gave the baby Junior everything. That's why they call me Junior. He says, now it's my turn to give something back to him. Ross has coached attitude as well as technique.
Leslie O'Neal, one of the great warriors in this one.
There's a warrior was standing right in front of Karl Mock, the offensive line coach.
And would you believe that Steve Hendrickson has now gone in at defensive end? He scored a touchdown for him. 34 wants to get a little bull rush going. And another sack, this one by Sean Lee, who's played well on the inside.
Look at that grin. Look at that grin. You gotta like it. It's Mike Babb, number 6. The thing now is to enjoy it tonight and refocus tomorrow.
Good coaches.
Oh, I know it. I tell you.
You're right.
But like Bobby Ross said, all we've done is earn the right to keep playing. That's all we've done. And that's how he thinks. And that the players have bought everything he said. You know, they started out 0-4. You know, they weren't believing everything at that time, but he got them going.
There's Hendrickson. He finally gets pushed off. And pass is complete to Michael Smith.
Michael Smith just signed as a free agent, just activated.
The Chiefs would dearly love to walk out of here without being shut out. They're going to have to hurry.
When you can rush the passer and then stop the run with 4 down linemen without doing a lot of blitzing, you're going to win a lot of football games.
And look at 34 coming at him on the inside. Burden is loose, and Burden is brought down by Donald Frank. That was the early one. Washington now goes to San Francisco. San Diego goes to Miami. This one's history. Start the celebration. Dick Vermeil, I've enjoyed it again this year.
Thank you. I have too. It's been great. A lot of games.
Thanks to Lynn Swan. I'm Brent Musburger. So long from San Diego. The amazing Chargers advance.